In the crushing darkness of the deep ocean where sunlight has never touched, lurks one of nature's strangest love stories. The anglerfish, with her eerie glowing lure and monstrous jaws, is a predator feared by many. Yet it isn't her hunting technique that shocks scientists the most, it's her mating ritual. A ritual where love doesn't mean companionship, but complete surrender. For the male anglerfish, romance is a one-way ticket to oblivion. Tiny compared to the massive female, he seeks her out in the vast, empty void of the deep sea. Once he finds her, he doesn't court, he doesn't sing, he bites. His jaws clamp onto her body, and over time his tissues begin to fuse with hers. His blood vessels merge with her circulatory system. His organs wither away until all that remains is a pair of testes, permanently feeding sperm into her body. He is no longer a partner, but a living appendage. This bizarre strategy ensures survival in an environment where encounters are rare and reproduction must be guaranteed. But it raises haunting questions. Is this the ultimate act of devotion or the most extreme form of parasitism? Why would evolution favor a system where one mate literally disappears into the other? And what does it reveal about life in Earth's most alien habitat? Today, we'll dive into the abyss to uncover the shocking mating ritual of the anglerfish, a love story that consumes quite literally body and soul. Far below the rolling waves, beneath the sunlit shallows, lies a world that feels more alien than Earth itself. This is the abyssal zone of the ocean, a realm of eternal night where pressure crushes like a mountain and temperatures hover just above freezing. It is a place where ordinary life cannot exist, yet extraordinary life finds a way. Here, no sunlight penetrates. Photosynthesis, the foundation of life on land and in shallow seas, is impossible. Energy comes not from the warmth of the sun, but from falling marine snow, tiny particles of organic debris drifting down from above. Every scrap of food is precious, and survival depends on patience, stealth, and strange adaptations. For predators of the deep, waiting is everything. In the vast emptiness, prey may only appear once in a great while. Miss your chance, and you might starve for weeks or even months. In this harsh world, the strategy of hunting is shaped by scarcity, not abundance. And in scarcity, innovation is the only path to survival. The abyss is also a kingdom of silence. No waves, no coral reefs buzzing with activity. Only the slow drifting movement of creatures sculpted by evolution's strangest experiments. Some glow with bioluminescence, producing living light in the darkness. Others have massive jaws and expandable stomachs, ready to devour anything that crosses their path. It is within this unearthly landscape that the anglerfish reigns as both a predator and a paradox. She's small compared to the monsters of human imagination, but terrifying in her design. Her body is a weapon of patience, a lure of light, a cavernous mouth, and teeth angled to prevent escape. Yet, her most shocking secret lies not in how she hunts, but in how she loves. The abyss, with its endless dark and crushing emptiness, shapes every aspect of life here. To survive is to adapt in ways that seem unthinkable on the surface. To reproduce is even harder, for encounters with a mate may be so rare that a single missed opportunity could mean the end of a lineage. This desperate environment is the backdrop for one of nature's strangest romances. Imagine swimming alone in a desert of black water, searching endlessly for a partner you may never find. For the male anglerfish, this is reality. Unlike land animals who can call, display, or compete in groups, deep-sea creatures are scattered across vast distances. Finding a female is not just difficult, it is nearly impossible. Evolution had to solve this problem in a way that defies all expectations. And so, the abyss becomes not only a stage of survival, but a crucible of radical solutions. Creatures here are not shaped to be beautiful, but to be efficient. They are not made to flourish in plenty, but to endure in scarcity. The anglerfish is the perfect emblem of this philosophy, a small, haunting predator that embodies both the brutality and the brilliance of life in the deep. As we descend further into this world, we are not just peering into the ocean. We are stepping into a realm where evolution has written its most shocking scripts. Among them, the love story of the anglerfish stands apart. A romance born of desperation, sealed in flesh, and carried out in eternal darkness. At first glance, the anglerfish hardly seems real. Its grotesque body, oversized jaws, and glowing lure appear more like the creation of a horror illustrator than a living animal. Yet this strange predator is very real, and it thrives in some of the most hostile regions of the ocean. The anglerfish belongs to the order Lophiiformes, a diverse group with more than 200 known species. While they share the same general hunting strategy, they differ dramatically in appearance, size, and habitat. Some live in relatively shallow waters near the sea floor, while others inhabit the crushing depths of the open ocean. Perhaps the most famous of all is the deep-sea anglerfish, with her iconic fishing pole sprouting from her head. This rod-like extension, called the elysium, ends in a fleshy bulb known as the esca. Inside the esca, colonies of bioluminescent bacteria generate an eerie glow. It is a lure in the truest sense of the word, a living flashlight in the endless night. To prey, the light appears as the promise of food, a drifting worm or a small fish glowing faintly in the dark. But the moment they draw near, the anglerfish springs her trap. Her jaws open wide, teeth like needles angled inward, ensuring that once something enters, it cannot escape. She can swallow prey nearly her own size, her stomach stretching like elastic to accommodate the meal. The appearance of the anglerfish is nothing short of nightmarish. Her body is rounded and squat, her skin often dark brown or black to blend into the abyss. Her teeth are long, thin, and translucent, giving the impression of a glass trap designed by nature. Her eyes are small compared to her massive mouth, for sight is of little use where light does not exist. But not all anglerfish are giants of horror. In fact, most are relatively small, rarely exceeding a foot in length. Some deep-sea species measure only a few inches long, yet their features remain exaggerated, almost grotesque caricatures of fish anatomy. Evolution has sculpted them for efficiency, not beauty. Interestingly, the females are the ones who bear these terrifying adaptations: the glowing lure, the cavernous mouth, and the ability to swallow enormous prey. These belong almost exclusively to the female. The males, by contrast, are tiny, fragile, and seemingly incomplete. Without her, they are barely more than shadows of a fish. This stark difference between the sexes is called sexual dimorphism, and in anglerfish, it reaches an extreme unmatched in most of nature. A female may be 10 to 20 times larger than her male counterpart. She is the hunter, the provider, and the body through which the species survives. The male's role is single-minded: to find her and fuse with her, ensuring reproduction. There are, however, many families of anglerfish that display slightly different strategies. The so-called football fish, named for its round, inflated body, is one of the best-known deep-sea representatives. Then there are goosefish and monkfish, shallow-water relatives with flattened bodies, lying in wait on sandy seafloors with their lures twitching like worms. Despite this variety, the essence of anglerfish biology remains constant: the lure, the ambush, and the bizarre mating ritual. The lure alone is a marvel of evolution. Scientists believe the glowing bacteria within the esca are symbiotic, meaning both the bacteria and the fish benefit. The bacteria get a safe home and nutrients, while the anglerfish gains a biological lantern. In some species, the anglerfish can even wiggle her lure like a fishing rod, imitating the motions of prey. She dangles it before her enormous mouth, drawing victims closer and closer until they make the fatal mistake of entering her strike zone. This strategy conserves precious energy in the deep sea, where chasing prey is rarely an option. Beyond her hunting adaptations, the female anglerfish also possesses a fascinating immune system. Unlike most vertebrates, which would reject the tissue of another individual, she tolerates the permanent fusion of males into her body. This makes her a living mystery for biologists, as it defies the rules of organ transplantation familiar to humans. To truly understand the anglerfish, one must see her not just as a monster, but as a master of survival. Every grotesque feature has a purpose. The light draws prey. The teeth trap it. The expandable stomach allows her to eat rarely but massively. The size difference between sexes ensures energy efficiency and reproduction. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random. The anglerfish is not beautiful in the human sense, but she is beautifully adapted to her environment. In the world of the abyss, efficiency is beauty, and survival is the only art that matters. She is the product of millions of years of refinement, shaped by the relentless forces of natural selection in the harshest environment on Earth. And yet, for all her terrifying features, the anglerfish is most famous not for her hunting, but for her love life. It is here, in the strangest and darkest depths of biology, that she reveals her most shocking secret. A ritual where mating means merging, and where love becomes parasitism. In the abyss, survival is a waiting game. Food is scarce, and every calorie must be earned with ruthless efficiency. For the anglerfish, hunting is less about chasing prey and more about luring it into a carefully laid trap. She is a predator of shadows, thriving in a world where patience is the deadliest weapon. The glowing lure is the centerpiece of her strategy. Suspended in front of her head, it flickers like a living beacon in the dark. To smaller fish or invertebrates, the light promises a potential meal, perhaps the drifting silhouette of a worm or shrimp. Drawn by hunger and curiosity, they drift closer, unaware that the light itself is bait. When the moment comes, the anglerfish doesn't chase. She explodes. Her jaws swing open at lightning speed, creating suction that pulls the victim inside. Teeth like crystal needles lock shut, angled inward so that escape is impossible. In a fraction of a second, the prey vanishes into her cavernous maw. Unlike fast swimmers such as tuna or sharks, the anglerfish is built for ambush. Her body is stocky, and her muscles are weak, unsuited for pursuit. But in the abyss, speed is not survival, deception is. By conserving energy and letting curiosity do the work, she turns the emptiness of the ocean into an ally. One of her most astonishing traits is her ability to eat prey nearly her own size. Her stomach and body wall are extraordinarily flexible, stretching to accommodate massive meals. This adaptation allows her to gorge when opportunity arises, storing energy for the long famine that might follow. Her hunting success depends entirely on invisibility. Many anglerfish are dark brown, black, or even transparent, blending seamlessly with the abyssal background. When she floats motionless, only the faint glow of her lure betrays her presence. And in the deep ocean, light itself is a language of survival. Bioluminescence, the production of living light, is everywhere in the abyss. Some creatures glow to attract mates, others to startle predators, and still others to disguise themselves against the faint glow of the surface. For the anglerfish, bioluminescence is weaponized. It is both a tool of deception and a promise of death. The light is not her own, but the work of symbiotic bacteria housed in her lure. Scientists believe these microbes provide the glow in exchange for nutrients and shelter. The relationship is ancient, a perfect marriage of predator and microscopic ally. Without them, the anglerfish's strategy would fail. Occasionally, the lure even mimics the wriggling of prey. By twitching the fleshy filament, she creates the illusion of movement, convincing predators of the deep that an easy meal awaits. But in reality, they are being drawn into the jaws of one of the ocean's most efficient killers. Prey in the abyss has few defenses against this strategy. Vision is limited, food is scarce, and hesitation can mean starvation. To them, light is hope. To the anglerfish, it is the beginning of the end. This asymmetry ensures her survival, turning desperation into opportunity. And yet, her role as a predator is not simply monstrous. In the deep ocean ecosystem, she is a regulator, a guardian of balance. By consuming smaller fish and crustaceans, she helps maintain the fragile food web of the abyss. Even in her terror, she is part of the ocean's greater harmony. The image of the anglerfish as a predator of shadows has captured human imagination for decades. From documentaries to animated films, her glowing lure and fanged mouth have become symbols of the unknown lurking in the deep. She is both a monster and a marvel, embodying the fear and fascination we hold for the abyss. But her predation, as terrifying as it seems, is only half the story. For the anglerfish, survival is not just about feeding. It is about ensuring the continuation of her species. And in the vast emptiness of the abyss, where finding a mate is nearly impossible, she has evolved a reproductive strategy as shocking as her hunting. It is here, in the darkness where love itself becomes a trap, that the anglerfish reveals her most infamous secret. A mating ritual that blurs the line between devotion and parasitism. For most animals, reproduction is simple compared to survival. Once food is secured and predators are avoided, finding a mate becomes the next great task. But in the abyss, where creatures drift in isolation across endless miles of water, reproduction is often the greatest challenge of all. For the anglerfish, it is not hunting that defines her strangeness. It is love. The vastness of the deep sea makes encounters between individuals vanishingly rare. Unlike coral reefs or coastal waters where fish gather in schools or swarms, the abyss offers no such congregation. A female anglerfish may drift for months without encountering another of her kind. For a tiny male, this problem is even more severe. In most species, males compete with each other for the attention of females. They grow bright colors, perform dances, or sing elaborate songs. But for the male anglerfish, such strategies are useless. He is too small, too weak, and too fragile to compete in any meaningful way. His only hope is to find a female and cling to her, literally for life. The size difference between the sexes is staggering. A female anglerfish may grow more than half a meter long, with a body designed for hunting and surviving in the abyss. Her male counterpart, however, is often no longer than a few centimeters. He is a shadow of a fish, stripped down to the bare essentials of life. To make matters worse, the deep sea provides almost no reliable cues for finding a mate. There are no scents carried on the wind, no calls echoing through forests, no gatherings on breeding grounds. Instead, males must rely on an extraordinary sense of smell, detecting chemical signals released by females into the water. Even with this adaptation, the odds are slim. Imagine searching for a single other being across a planet-sized desert. The encounter may happen once in a lifetime, and if it does, the male cannot afford to waste the opportunity. Evolution has refined him into a single-minded seeker, his survival tied entirely to reproduction. Once he finds her, the male has no courtship to perform. He does not display or sing. He does not dance or fight rivals. Instead, he does the only thing his anatomy allows. He bites. With small but persistent jaws, he clamps onto the body of the much larger female. At first, it may look like desperation, but soon it becomes something much stranger. His tissues begin to fuse with hers. Blood vessels merge, and his body slowly surrenders to hers. One by one, his organs shrink and disappear until only his reproductive tissues remain. He is no longer an individual, but a permanent attachment, a parasite turned partner. From the female's perspective, this bizarre arrangement solves the greatest problem of the abyss. With one or more males fused to her body, she has a constant supply of sperm, ready whenever she produces eggs. She never needs to risk searching for a mate again. In the darkness of the deep sea, this guarantee is priceless. But for the male, the arrangement is grim. He loses his independence, his organs, even his identity as a separate creature. His life becomes wholly absorbed into hers, his only purpose fulfilled in silent service. What appears to us as a grotesque sacrifice is, in evolutionary terms, the ultimate strategy for survival. This shocking system raises unsettling questions. Is the male a devoted partner, sacrificing himself for the continuation of the species? Or is he merely a parasite, consumed and reduced to nothing more than a reproductive tool? The line between love and exploitation blurs in the abyss. The mating problem of the anglerfish reveals a truth about life in extreme environments. Nature is not sentimental. It does not design for romance or fairness. It designs for efficiency, for survival, for the relentless continuation of life at any cost. And in the deep ocean, where the chances of meeting a mate are almost zero, evolution has found its most extreme answer. For us, the idea of a male vanishing into the body of his mate is unsettling, even horrifying. But for the anglerfish, it is the only way forward. Without this radical strategy, the species would vanish into the darkness, unable to reproduce in time. The grotesque has become essential. Thus, the mating problem is not just a challenge of biology. It is a crucible of creativity. Evolution, faced with the impossible, has carved out a solution that shocks the human imagination. And as strange as it seems, it works. The anglerfish continues to thrive, her body a testament to the bizarre bargains of the abyss. When the male anglerfish finally finds a female, the scene is less a courtship and more a collision of destinies. In the abyss, this rare meeting is a matter of survival. For him, it is the end of independence. For her, it is the beginning of a partnership unlike any other in nature. The moment of contact begins with a bite. The tiny male latches onto the massive body of the female, jaws gripping her skin. At first, it may seem like a desperate attempt to cling to safety in the vast dark. But this bite is not temporary. It is the start of a permanent union. Soon his flesh begins to dissolve at the point of attachment. Her body and his release enzymes that fuse tissues together. Blood vessels intertwine, nerves fade, and the boundary between two individuals blurs. In time, he is no longer a separate being, but an extension of her body. As days pass, the male undergoes a transformation that seems closer to science fiction than biology. His fins, eyes, and even his digestive system begin to atrophy. He no longer hunts, swims, or eats on his own. Instead, he draws nutrients directly from her blood, his life entirely dependent on her circulation. His organs shrink one by one. The heart becomes redundant, the brain unnecessary. What remains are his gonads, permanently supplying sperm. He is no longer a fish in the traditional sense. He is a living reproductive organ fused to his mate. This shocking ritual is called sexual parasitism, and it is unique in its extremity. While other animals display bizarre mating behaviors, like the praying mantis devouring her mate or the black widow spider consuming the male, none match the anglerfish in permanence. Here, death is not immediate, but transformation. The male does not simply vanish, he becomes immortalized within her. In some species, a single female may host multiple males fused to her body at once. 6, 8, or even more tiny partners dangle like bizarre growths along her form, each reduced to a pair of testes. To her, they are resources. To them, she is existence itself. The ritual is as grotesque as it is efficient. In an environment where encounters are nearly impossible, this permanent arrangement ensures that whenever she produces eggs, sperm is ready. There is no waiting, no risk of missing the fleeting chance to reproduce. Evolution has engineered certainty at the cost of individuality. For scientists, the most astonishing part is the immune system involved. Normally, When tissues from one organism merge with another, the body rejects the foreign material. Organ transplants in humans, for instance, require complex treatments to avoid rejection. Yet in anglerfish, the fusion is seamless. Her body accepts his tissues as her own, a mystery that challenges our understanding of biology. To the human imagination, this ritual raises unsettling questions. Is this devotion, the ultimate sacrifice of self for love? Or is it exploitation, where the male is consumed and stripped of identity? The truth lies in the indifferent logic of evolution. There is no romance, no cruelty, only survival. Yet in its strangeness, the ritual captivates us. It feels like a metaphor, a dark mirror of human relationships where one partner may dominate, consume, or erase the other. The abyss reflects not just biology, but our fears about love, dependence, and loss of self. Some deep-sea anglerfish species do not practice this extreme fusion. Instead, their males remain free-living, swimming and searching for mates when the chance arises. But in those species that do, the ritual defines their very existence. It is their strategy, their identity, their future. For the female, the cost is minimal. She carries her fused partners like small attachments, always ready for reproduction. For the male, the cost is everything: his freedom, his body, his individuality, all surrendered in exchange for the certainty of passing on his genes. From an evolutionary perspective, this arrangement is brutally elegant. The male ensures reproduction in an environment where chance encounters are rare, and the female guarantees a constant supply of sperm without the need to seek out new mates. It is a system forged in desperation, polished by the unforgiving pressures of the abyss. As horrifying as it may seem, the ritual works. Anglerfish continue to thrive in some of the harshest habitats on Earth. Their bizarre love story, shocking to us, is simply life to them. What seems like parasitism is, in truth, adaptation, a masterpiece of evolution written in the language of survival. And so, in the eternal darkness of the deep, where hunger and loneliness rule, the anglerfish has turned love into fusion, partnership into absorption. It is here that the boundary between devotion and parasitism dissolves, leaving behind a tale that is equal parts terrifying and awe-inspiring. The fusion of two living animals into one body is not just shocking. It is nearly impossible by the rules we know. In humans and most vertebrates, the immune system guards the body like an army. Anything foreign, whether bacteria, virus, or transplanted tissue, is attacked and destroyed. Organ rejection in medicine is proof of how fiercely this system protects identity. Yet, in the anglerfish, a male fuses with a female and is never rejected. How? When the male bites the female, enzymes begin dissolving his skin at the contact point. Rather than triggering a defensive response, her body allows the process to continue. Slowly, their tissues knit together, blood vessels merge, enabling the male to receive direct nourishment from her circulation. From that moment onward, he is biologically dependent. Researchers studying anglerfish have discovered that several species possess unique genetic modifications to their immune systems. Specifically, they lack key genes responsible for recognizing and rejecting non-self tissue. In effect, the immune system is weakened, but in a way that benefits their extraordinary lifestyle. What would be a dangerous flaw in humans becomes an evolutionary trick for survival. This adaptation is so rare that it has been compared to natural organ transplantation. Imagine a patient receiving a heart or kidney without any drugs to suppress rejection, and the body accepting it as its own. For the anglerfish, this miracle happens every time a male fuses with a female. The process is irreversible. Once the male's body begins to atrophy, there is no going back. His organs shrink, his independence is erased, and only his testes remain active. He becomes a permanent part of her biology, like a grafted limb that lives only for reproduction. From the female's perspective, This arrangement is astonishingly efficient. She invests no energy in searching for mates, no risk in wandering the abyss in vain. With fused males attached, she can reproduce at any time. Each time she releases eggs, sperm is instantly available, ensuring that no opportunity is wasted. For the male, the biology of fusion is both a curse and a guarantee. He sacrifices his life, his identity, and his freedom, but in return, his genes are preserved. In evolutionary terms, this is success. To pass on DNA is the ultimate goal of all living things, and he achieves it completely, though at the cost of everything else. Scientists have also noted that in some species, multiple males may fuse with a single female. Each becomes a tiny organ, contributing sperm. In extreme cases, her body resembles a living colony, with one giant central female hosting a cluster of miniature dependent males. It is reproduction as teamwork, though one-sided in its benefits. This fusion biology has fascinated medical researchers. If we could understand how anglerfish suppress immune rejection, we might unlock new possibilities for human organ transplants. Instead of lifelong drug regimens, patients might one day receive organs that integrate seamlessly, just as in these bizarre creatures of the deep. But beyond science, the biology of fusion raises profound philosophical questions. Where does one individual end and the other begin? If the male is absorbed, does he still exist? Is he a parasite, a partner, or something in between? In the abyss, individuality itself becomes fluid, dissolving as surely as his body into hers. In the deep sea, identity is not sacred. Survival is. The biology of fusion is simply another solution, another twist of evolution's endless creativity. To us, it is shocking. To the anglerfish, it is life as usual, a system perfected over millions of years in the darkness where nothing else would work. Thus, the biology of fusion is not just a curiosity. It is a key to understanding how far evolution can go when pressed by impossible odds. It shows us that nature has no limits, no boundaries too sacred to cross. If survival demands the merging of two bodies into one, then that is what nature will create. And in the end, this system is not failure or flaw, it is triumph. The anglerfish endures, her glowing lure drifting in the dark, her fused partners hidden within her body. Together, they form a single organism shaped by desperation, perfected by necessity, and immortalized as one of the strangest unions in all of biology. The story of the anglerfish is often told as one of horror. A male fuses to a female, loses his body, and becomes little more than a reproductive organ. To human eyes, it looks grotesque, parasitic, and even cruel. Yet biology is not guided by human emotions. It forces us to ask, is this true devotion, or is it parasitism disguised as love? In one interpretation, the male is a tragic hero of devotion. Against impossible odds, he searches the abyss for his mate. Once found, he gives up his independence, his very life, to ensure her success. In this sense, his sacrifice could be seen as the ultimate act of loyalty, his body merging with hers so the species may endure. But in another interpretation, the male is nothing more than a parasite. He clamps onto her body, consumes her nutrients, and drains her energy while giving almost nothing back beyond sperm. His existence is reduced to dependency, his individuality erased, his life hijacked by hers. By this view, their union is not love at all, but exploitation. The truth, as always in evolution, lies somewhere beyond human concepts of romance or cruelty. Evolution does not reward love, loyalty, or fairness. It rewards success. If a behavior increases survival and reproduction, it will endure, no matter how it appears to us. For the anglerfish, this bizarre merger is not morality, it is mathematics. Yet the symbolism is hard for humans to ignore. The image of a partner consumed by another resonates with our fears of control and domination in relationships. Stories of sacrifice, loss of self, and erasure echo in myths, literature, and human psychology. The anglerfish becomes more than biology. It becomes a mirror of our anxieties about love. Some scientists argue that calling the male a parasite is misleading. Unlike true parasites, which harm their host for selfish gain, the fused male provides something essential: a guarantee of reproduction. Without him, she risks never meeting another partner again. His presence, though costly, ensures her lineage continues. Others suggest that this arrangement is not parasitism, but symbiosis pushed to its extreme. In nature, symbiosis comes in many forms: mutualism, where both partners benefit; commensalism, where one benefits without harming the other; and parasitism, where one thrives at the other's expense. The anglerfish seems to blur all categories, defying neat definitions. From the male's perspective, the union is absolute sacrifice. He loses his organs, his freedom, his chance at independent life. Yet, his genes survive, woven into future generations. In evolution's ledger, that is victory. From the female's perspective, she gains certainty in reproduction, but she must nourish her fused partners for the rest of her life. The exchange is brutal, but effective. What makes this debate so fascinating is not just the biology, but the philosophy. We project our own values onto the deep sea, asking whether the male is a lover, a victim, or a parasite. But in truth, he is none of these. He is an answer, a solution created by evolution to solve the abyss's cruelest problem. How to reproduce when meeting a mate is nearly impossible. Perhaps what disturbs us most is that love and parasitism are not opposites in this case. They are the same act, the same bond, two sides of the same coin. The male's devotion is indistinguishable from his exploitation. His surrender is at once partnership and loss. The abyss does not separate them, it unites them. In the end, whether we call it love or parasitism, the system works. The anglerfish thrives, her glowing lure shining in the darkness, her body hosting the silent, hidden presence of her partners. She is at once hunter and home, predator and partner, monster and mother. The deep ocean reminds us that life is not bound by our definitions. Love, parasitism, symbiosis, these are human categories. The anglerfish transcends them, embodying something stranger, a survival strategy born of darkness, perfected by necessity, and preserved by evolution's cold hand. Every strange behavior in nature is the product of pressure. Evolution does not invent the bizarre without reason. It sculpts life to fit challenges, no matter how unusual the outcome. In the case of the anglerfish, the extreme solution of sexual fusion arose because nothing less could guarantee survival in the abyss. The deep sea is vast beyond imagination. It covers most of Earth's surface, yet it is almost empty compared to the vibrant shallows. For two anglerfish to meet in this enormous space is so unlikely that chance alone could doom the species. Evolution had to find a way to make every encounter count. The result was a strategy of permanence. Instead of temporary mating, the male locks himself into the female for life. He ensures that his genes will be passed on, even if he never encounters another female. She ensures that reproduction can happen whenever she produces eggs. It is a solution that transforms chance into certainty. Other species have solved the problem of reproduction in strange ways, but none so drastically. Some corals release massive clouds of sperm and eggs into the water, hoping they will collide. Some worms are hermaphrodites, able to play both male and female roles, but the anglerfish went further, fusing partners into one body. This strategy is not without costs. The female must carry the metabolic burden of her fused partners. She must nourish them, even though they contribute nothing beyond sperm. Yet the benefit outweighs the cost. Without them, she might never reproduce at all. With them, she secures her future. From an evolutionary perspective, the male's sacrifice is not tragedy, it is triumph. His genes survive, preserved in the next generation. Evolution cares nothing for individuality or freedom. What matters is that DNA continues, and in this, the fused male succeeds completely. The anglerfish's solution also highlights an important principle. Adaptation is shaped not by perfection, but by necessity. On land, such a system would be absurd, wasteful, even self-destructive. But in the abyss, where encounters are rare, it is the only strategy that works. Evolution designs not for beauty, but for survival in context. Comparisons with other extreme mating strategies make the anglerfish stand out. The praying mantis sometimes devours her mate, consuming him for nutrients while fertilization takes place. The black widow spider does the same, turning reproduction into cannibalism. These are violent acts, but they are temporary. The anglerfish's ritual is permanent, binding two lives forever. Even stranger, some species of deep-sea anglerfish allow multiple males to fuse into one female. This colony-like arrangement means she carries a living harem, each male reduced to testes, each serving her reproductive needs. Evolution, faced with scarcity, created abundance in the strangest way possible. The lesson is clear. In extreme environments, life bends the rules. Behaviors that would seem impossible elsewhere become the only path forward. The anglerfish demonstrates that when nature is forced into a corner, it produces solutions that challenge our imagination. In this sense, the shocking ritual is not horror. It is brilliance. It is proof that life can adapt to anything, no matter how harsh, no matter how unlikely. In the crushing dark of the abyss, where hope seems absent, evolution found a way. And so the anglerfish is not a mistake of nature, but a masterpiece. Her glowing lure, her ambush hunting, and her parasitic mates are all threads in the same tapestry, a story of survival at any cost. Love became fusion, individuality became sacrifice, and parasitism became strategy. The abyss is unforgiving, but evolution is relentless. And in the strange marriage of the anglerfish, we see not just survival, but the triumph of life's creativity under impossible odds. The anglerfish's bizarre mating ritual is not the only strange adaptation to emerge from the abyss. The deep sea is a realm that rewards extremes, and nearly every creature here carries a story of survival that seems almost impossible. By placing the anglerfish alongside her neighbors, we see just how extraordinary, and yet how consistent, evolution's creativity can be in the darkness. Consider the gulper eel, sometimes called the pelican eel. With a body barely as thick as a rope, but a mouth as wide as a basketball, it defies proportion. Its jaw can unhinge to swallow prey many times its own size, a strategy born of scarcity. Like the anglerfish, it cannot afford to miss a meal. One gulp must last for weeks. Then there is the giant squid, a phantom of the depths. These elusive hunters grow longer than a bus, with eyes the size of dinner plates, perfect for detecting the faintest glimmer of movement in the dark. Unlike the anglerfish, which waits patiently for prey, the giant squid is built for pursuit, proving that even in the abyss, more than one strategy can succeed. Other residents rely on light itself. The lanternfish, though small, are among the most numerous vertebrates on Earth. Their bodies glow with bioluminescent spots that can confuse predators or signal mates. In their sheer numbers, they are the backbone of the deep-sea food web, providing sustenance for larger hunters like squid and whales. One of the strangest companions of the anglerfish is the vampire squid, a creature draped in a cloak of webbing that resembles a cape. Despite its name, it is not a predator of blood but a scavenger of detritus. Its tentacles collect falling marine snow, recycling nutrients that fuel life in the depths. Where the anglerfish represents predation, the vampire squid represents patience and recycling. Reproduction in the deep sea takes many unusual forms beyond the anglerfish's fusion. Some deep-sea worms are hermaphrodites, carrying both male and female organs, ensuring that any encounter with another of their kind results in fertilization. Others, like certain crustaceans, release vast numbers of eggs and sperm into the water, hoping chance currents bring them together. The hatchetfish offers another striking adaptation. Its body is lined with rows of light-producing organs that shine downward, matching the faint glow from above. This camouflage, known as counter-illumination, hides it from predators lurking below. Where the anglerfish uses light to deceive, the hatchetfish uses light to disappear. Even predators at the top of the food chain, such as sperm whales, depend on the oddities of the abyss. These giants dive thousands of meters in search of squid, navigating a world as alien to them as it is to us. Their survival links the surface world to the deep, bridging two ecosystems through daring hunts. In this theater of extremes, the anglerfish stands out because her adaptation is not only physical, but relational. Most deep-sea creatures change their bodies to survive, stretching stomachs, enlarging eyes, producing light. The anglerfish changes the very definition of partnership, transforming love into fusion, reproduction into permanence. And yet, when viewed beside her neighbors, she does not seem alone in her strangeness. The deep sea is a graveyard of boundaries broken, rules rewritten, and possibilities explored. Here, evolution is not restrained by convention. It invents, it experiments, it thrives on the bizarre. This context reminds us that the anglerfish's shocking ritual is not an isolated freak of nature. It is part of a broader pattern, the deep sea forcing life to bend, twist, and reinvent itself in ways that would be impossible elsewhere. In the darkness, innovation is survival, and the anglerfish is simply one of its most dramatic expressions. For centuries, the deep ocean was a place of mystery and terror. Sailors spoke of monsters lurking below, their stories filled with glowing eyes, enormous mouths, and creatures that swallowed ships whole. When scientists first brought anglerfish to the surface, it was as if those legends had taken shape. The sight of a fanged, luminous predator confirmed humanity's fears and fascination with the abyss. In modern times, the anglerfish has become an icon of deep-sea horror. Documentaries often feature her glowing lure and jagged teeth as symbols of the ocean's strangeness. Few animals embody the alien beauty of the abyss so perfectly. To see her face illuminated in the dark is to glimpse a creature that seems designed not for Earth, but for another world. Yet, the anglerfish has also entered popular culture in unexpected ways. In animated films, she often appears as a terrifying jump scare, an exaggerated monster with a dangling light, ambushing unsuspecting characters. This dramatization, while frightening, also cements her as one of the most recognizable deep-sea creatures to audiences worldwide. Artists and writers, too, find inspiration in her story. The idea of a mate fusing into another's body has appeared in literature, films, and even philosophy as a metaphor for toxic relationships, dependence, and loss of identity. What biology created as a survival strategy, humans interpret as a mirror of their own fears. But fascination is not only rooted in fear. Scientists admire the anglerfish as a masterpiece of adaptation. Her ability to fuse tissues without immune rejection, her partnership with bioluminescent bacteria, and her extreme sexual dimorphism are all subjects of cutting-edge research. To study her is to peer into both the mysteries of the deep and the possibilities of future medicine. Children, meanwhile, encounter the anglerfish as a creature both scary and exciting. Books in classrooms use her image to teach about bioluminescence, adaptation, and the wonders of unexplored ecosystems. She becomes a gateway to curiosity, sparking questions about what else might lurk in the darkness of the sea. In a way, the anglerfish embodies our relationship with the unknown. She is fear and wonder combined, proof that the ocean still holds secrets stranger than any fiction. Her glowing lure reminds us that even in darkness, there is light. Her shocking mating ritual reminds us that life finds a way, no matter how unsettling the path. From sailor's legend to scientific marvel, from horror monster to cultural symbol, the anglerfish continues to capture the human imagination. She is not only a predator of shadows, but also a story told across generations, a reminder that the boundaries of life stretch far beyond what we expect. In the deepest corners of the ocean, where light never shines and survival is an endless struggle, the anglerfish has written one of evolution's strangest stories. She is both predator and paradox, her glowing lure and monstrous jaws defining her as a hunter, while her mating ritual transforms love into parasitism. To us, her world seems alien. We look at the male's fate, fusing, dissolving, and surrendering himself into her body, and we recoil. Yet through the cold lens of evolution, this is not tragedy but triumph. It is a strategy perfectly tuned to the abyss, where encounters are rare and reproduction cannot be left to chance. The anglerfish teaches us a lesson about life's resilience. Nature is not bound by our definitions of beauty, fairness, or morality. It shapes survival in whatever form works best, no matter how unsettling. Where we see horror, evolution sees efficiency. Where we see sacrifice, nature sees success. In her glowing light, we glimpse the creativity of life itself: bioluminescent bacteria, immune systems rewritten, partners fused into one body. All of these speak to evolution's willingness to bend the rules. The anglerfish is not an exception. She is a symbol of what life can become when pushed to the limits. For humans, she remains both inspiration and warning. Inspiration because her adaptations spark scientific research into transplantation, bioluminescence, and survival in extreme environments. Warning because her story reflects our own fears of dependence, control, and loss of identity. The abyss, in this way, holds up a mirror to ourselves. And yet, despite all the strangeness, the anglerfish is simply living proof of a deeper truth: that life is unstoppable. In darkness, in scarcity, in pressure that would crush us instantly, she thrives. Her ritual may shock us, but it ensures that she continues generation after generation, her luminous lure drifting like a ghostly lantern in the deep. So, is it love or parasitism, devotion or exploitation? Perhaps it is all of these at once, or none at all. For the anglerfish, it is simply survival. And survival, in the end, is the greatest story life has to tell. The deep sea hides stories stranger than fiction, and the anglerfish reminds us that survival can take forms more shocking than we ever imagined. What do you think? Did evolution create the ultimate love story, or the darkest example of parasitism? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. If you enjoyed exploring this bizarre ritual, don't forget to like this video. It helps us shine more light into the mysteries of the animal kingdom. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss the next journey into nature's strangest instincts. From glowing hunters to immortal jellyfish, from ants that farm to birds that lie, this channel is your window into the wildest behaviors on Earth. So stay curious, stay amazed, and join us as we uncover the secrets of evolution's strangest creations. Until next time, thank you for watching Bizarre Animal Instincts, where the unbelievable is always true.